I want to ask you a couple of questions that came from, as I said, the Patreon group of the podcast.
Mhm.
One I think is very interesting. It says the following: if you had the chance to start your architecture career again, is there anything you would change?
Um, is there anything I would change? It's kind of an existential question, I suppose. No, I probably wouldn't because everything's led to where I'm at currently. Every job I've had, every uh, firm I've been with, every project I've taken on has taught me a lot, and I've learned along all of those. I think one thing that's important for everybody as they're developing as a young architect is to um, of course plug in where you can, but if you're not passionate about what you do, then you need to find a firm or a city or a place that can help drive that that passion. I've been fortunate in that I've lived in some great cities, and now with 3XN for 12 years, worked on some really interesting projects. I was, I guess, really fortunate. Um, I've been doing what I've wanted to do, and I think it's important that people pursue what's best for them. And if their current firm, doesn't isn't doing that, then look elsewhere, or try to work, push really hard for the projects that you're interested in, and try to develop those in an interesting way, actually. And ideas don't come from the top, right? It's a team dynamic. So if you have ideas, push it, but also try to learn from every project and everybody on the team, because everyone has something to offer.
Yeah, indeed. Another question is, can unbuilt projects, for example, idea competitions, change architecture? So I guess the question here is also if just ideas can have an impact on how architecture is done, or in your opinion, the buildings has to take shape and be like proved of reality, and then they have some impact.
No, I think unbuilt work can promote ideas for sure, because it gets conversations, and it starts conversations, which eventually work their way into projects. Um, I don't think I said earlier that the way we approach our work is, we push the envelope, but it always is grounded, with one foot firmly grounded in commercial reality. The other one's firmly planted in this social dynamic. Um, but I think uh, we can learn from unsuccessful bids. We can learn from competition bids. I do think there's, with our profession, that's what's so nice about it. Actually, there's a theoretical side. There's uh, a commercial reality side, or a built side. When those two things come together, praxis. I think that's what interests me. Um, but I'm all for promoting architecture in a multitude of ways. I think dialogue is important to push any discipline, architecture included.
And the last question we got from the Patreons is, if winning a competition, it's a good starting point for your own office, for your own company.
It is, but I think now that definitely probably held true, a decade ago. But I think now there's a lot of young practices that have become recognized and actually promoted their work through social media. I think it has such a reach that younger firms are getting more commissions because their work's actually reaching a larger audience. Where previously it had to be a competition, and that was then advertised or promoted in architectural press. But I think now everyone, in a way, has that opportunity to promote their own work and tell their own story and narrative. Um, Competitions are great because it's if you win it, um, there's a better chance that project will get built. When a project's built, it usually leads to more work. But there's so many ways, I think, now to promote your own narrative, whether it's theoretical or built work. There's more opportunities out there now.
If you want to ask some questions to our guests too and have access to the live podcast or early access to the unedited and uncut podcast episodes, you can do that now by just joining our Patreon community. I'll leave you the link in the description of this video. If instead you just want to enjoy free videos here on YouTube, here is another one. And don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel. That means the world, and you're supporting the conversation about creativity and business. Thank you very much, and see you with the next one.